Okay, I will call the Historic Review Board meeting. Yeah, Monday, June 24th, 2019. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Joyce?
Here.
Kathy? I'll leave that blank for now. Dwayne? Lily? Gigi?
Present.
Connie?
Here.
Roger?
Here.
Braden? Here. Alright, that's it.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the last meeting?
I move acceptance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any correspondence that have come to us? Okay, let's start with 909 Cedar.
You got all
Yes,
this
I got
printed
all
out,
of
good, because a couple of them I'm missing that I thought I had when I left home, but
Oh,
I don't know where they are. Anyways, I'll steal a few, but I do have 909 Cedar in front of me. So 909 Cedar, Lisa DeRue is the applicant. It's in the Elston Grove Local and National Register Historic District. The rating is contributing. It's a bungalow style called the Carney House, constructed in 1928 for the Carl and Emma Carney family. The house has side gables and a large gable roof dormer and sits upon a foundation of brown bricks. Its walls are covered with cement shingles with a scalloped bottom edge. The windows are 3/1 craftsman style wood windows with simple wood casing. The roof is covered with asphalt shingles and has exposed rafter tails. A porch is located on the north side of the front wall with wood steps and a wooden floor. A tapered column is covered with cement shingles is located on the northeast corner of the porch. Wood knee braces are located on the corners and at the top of the side gables and the front gable. The description of the proposed project is painting, and we've got the different Sherwin-Williams colors here for the body, the door, and the trim. And samples of that in the application. So, staff recommendation, the proposed paint colors are appropriate for the style and air of the house. Staff recommends approval as submitted.
Is there anyone here representing 909? Do I have a motion?
I recommend we approve it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same.
Neat looking little house.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay, the next one is the one that disappeared from my staff.
Which one was that?
14 for 12 East 10. I can steal one. Okay, 212 East 10th. Applicant's name is David Augustus. It's in the Elston Grove Local and National Historic District, rated contributing. American Foursquare Colonial Revival, circa 1928. The subject property is one of the best examples of colonial revival style in the district. Its foundation and walls are composed of brown brick. The house is a 2-story cube and has a tipped roof. The windows are wood 6/1 with stone sills and lintels. The roof is covered with asphalt shingles. The house has a sun porch with a hipped roof on its west wall and a garden wall that continues off the west wall of the sun porch and the front wall to create a small enclosure on the southwest corner of the house. The detached garage sits behind the house and carries the colonial revival styling and hipped roof. Alterations, the property retains a significant amount of historical integrity, with the only alteration being a replacement front door. COA number 12-2017 approved removal and replacement of asphalt roof shingles on the garage. The proposed project is to install a new fence on the east elevation, meeting existing fence hedge at the south elevation to the north end of the lot. Remove and replace fence on the west side of the lot. The fence is to be a 4-foot treated pine shadow box style. Staff recommendation. The proposed removal replacement of existing deteriorated privacy fence on the rear west side and installation of a new privacy fence on the rear east side of the property meet the historic district guidelines in style, material, and location. Staff recommends approval as submitted.
I can't quite tell, will the fence come all the way forward to the front of the property, or is it just along the,
It goes to the hedge.
Edge is about 20 feet setback from the sidewalk.
oh, good.
So it's virtually, or will be virtually impossible. I went out there and stood and looked, and I mean, you have to be looking fast to see
Yeah,
it.
there's a
Yes.
fence under there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's, well, the new one I meant on the east
Oh, yeah.
side.
You can see
Yeah, so
it. You know,
it's perfectly appropriate.
Aside, there was a fence there at one time. There's still marks where the posts were in the ground on the east side, but
Yeah, the one on the west is sort of there under the olive green.
yeah, the south,
Yeah.
south under the edge, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
I recommend approval.
I have an approval, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Carried, thank you.
Thanks for your patience on that one.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I get approved tomorrow?
Yes, yeah, you'd be good to go.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
no problem.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, thank you.
Fight for those lights.
We're gonna try. Is that his,
No, that's
My first-
hers. I was
oh.
just moving because I kept on going right past him.
okay, okay. Next, we'll move on to 113 York Street.
Are you doing 710 Franklin?
Oh, yeah, I checked it off already. I'm
You're
sorry.
good. Already approved it before we read
I'm
it.
sorry, yes, I did, I'm sorry. 710.
She likes that one.
Yes, yes. I guess.
Okay, we'll do 710 Franklin. Applicant is HealthLink. It's in the Franklin Square Local and Franklin Street Commercial
We're
Historic
sharing.
District. Rating is contributing. Style is 20th century commercial. And it was built in 1914. The subject property was constructed as a brick two-story structure with terracotta detailing. It has a flat roof. The first floor storefront features large glass windows and a recessed entry. Alterations, the original second floor windows have been replaced with commercial storefront glazing and metal frames. COA number 54-2017 approved replacement of Fagan Pharmacy letters on the front face with CVS Pharmacy flat cutout letters. This project is 4 panels in total from left to right, and it gives the dimensions on there, 99 by 52, 112 by 52, 112 by 52, and 96 by 52, all inches, of course. So the staff recommendation is the proposed window graphics do not overpower the building storefront or obscure historic elements and complement the existing signage. Staff recommends approval as submitted.
Is there anyone representing?
I'm here.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? The sign is already up, isn't it?
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's not,
We
okay.
don't have any
You
signage.
can look right into, and you're looking at desks and floor
Right.
space and all that stuff, so it'll be definitely a nice cleanup on
Right.
what's there.
Photoshopped image is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
I took the picture and then our graphic designer stuck it on there.
Very good.
I'll let you know exactly what we're thinking.
The windows are already installed.
Yeah, the windows have been there when the clinic first opened, shortly after it opened,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And Dr. Burns used to be there.
Oh, years ago.
Yeah,
Dr.
but that's
McBride.
when
Oh, that's when.
I worked with him to put those windows in so that they could have more light in upstairs. That's why the large panes are there now.
Mhm.
But only thing I would say is, it would be nice if it could be, the colors could be reversed so it kind of picked up the colors of the CVS pharmacy.
You mean white with blue lettering?
Two contrasting colors there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I don't think that's anything we could really.
No.
But the blue is probably the
Right, it's a.
and the logo
Right.
of
Right.
HealthLink,
It
right?
is our HealthLink blue, and our concern with the white is it would get dirty. It appeared in, as a health facility, we were going for more of a
Yeah,
clean look,
right.
and then we were trying to make a nod to the arts district earlier in the background.
We probably couldn't get CVS to change their letters to that.
Probably not there.
We're lucky CBS
I
has
think
theirs
that
up
might
there.
be a bad one to mail it down.
Okay, any other questions? May I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. All right, thank you. Now, how about if we go to 113 York?
Yeah, we just
Yes,
have that one.
Thank you.
no problem.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so 113 York, applicant's name is Rob Hart, authorized agent is Anastasia Prado. It's in the Elston Grove Local and National Historic District, rated contributing, constructed in 1894. Subject property is part of the Zorn Brewery Complex. It is a parapet front building with brick walls and foundation. Its window locations have been changed or reduced in size. However, the original segmented arches still exist. So the project, I'm going to let them talk about it because it's long and detailed and we've met numerous times. I do know it forwards and backwards, but it would be better if you could present this to them and then I'll give my
I'm
recommendation.
happy to, that's great. Does everybody have a copy of the?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is probably the easiest way to kind of talk through the building. But first of all, Rob and I are really excited about this building and being able to bring it back to life. And it's a charm, I don't know if you've all been there, but it's a really charming building. And the first floor is 10,000 square feet. The first floor is all open. And there was a variance approved already in 2005 or 6, and so for 3 residential units. So we're going to be building 3 apartments, residential units up top as well, just to give you some background on sort of the overall scope. But as far as the exterior goes, you can see here in the improvement summary, for the most part, there's 44 windows. 36 windows on the building that are existing. We're proposing to replace all windows, which is great. And then the other, we have a new entry door at the front of the building. We're proposing a glass garage door off the parking lot. And as far as tuck pointing goes, we're proposing to tuck point the entire south and east elevation. And so the south elevation, as you'll see here, this is the south elevation.
Yes. Page 3.
So we're proposing to tuck point the entire facade, and then again, all new windows, and a new glass garage door on this side of the building. And then when you move on to the east elevation, which is the front of the building, so this faces York. We're proposing a new front door. And I would say that the biggest change to the building that we're proposing is, and you can see it when you're standing in front, and actually on the interior, which is what is now the bathroom, an old archway that's in the building, and we're proposing to reopen the door there so that both commercial spaces would have their own separate entryway. So the existing door would go into what is now offices, or what will remain as offices, and then the second door we're proposing would go into an event space, so that both spaces have their own.
So on this one right here, this is the one you're saying is the existing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is existing, and then proposed is a double door.
Okay, thank you.
And then this side of the elevation, we're proposing to tuck point the entire facade and chimney, so it has a nice fresh look as well. And then if you move on to the north elevation, this is the side that is currently facing the alley. And you can see on here, the first floor, there are blocked windows. There's blocks in all of those windows. We're leaving those the same. We're not opening those up right now. And the thought would be, if there's a potential user down the road who wants to do that, they can do that. And then we're replacing all the windows on the second floor. And then there's some tuck pointing, and there's some, brick missing bricks that we have to match, and tuck pointing where necessary in this elevation. And then finally in the west elevation, which is the back of the building, again, tuck pointing where necessary, and then all new windows on this elevation.
No,
And-
excuse me,
And from the
Yeah,
building standpoint, that's really it. Oh, sorry.
excuse me, on the north elevation, it's the proposed, it shows concrete block in the lower windows.
She said that they're
That's what's
currently.
there now.
Well, that's currently there.
That's currently there,
It does say proposed, but
If you look at the photo,
Yeah, the photo's existing.
that's how it looks right now.
okay.
Yeah, it does say proposed. So it's hard to see on this, but there's a little squiggly line that's circling all the windows on the top.
Mhm.
And we're proposing to replace those windows, so
Right.
all the windows on the second floor.
Okay,
I heard you mention a glass garage door.
Mhm.
Where is that going to be?
Sure.
It was that south
It's right
elevation.
here.
there is the garage door now,
It's an
it's
existing
not
garage
glass.
door, and that's shown on the south.
Just a
There is a
solid
garage door, it's a solid panel door to there now, and they went to the glass one and put the solid one in.
Right here.
Well, we had the issue with one of the restaurants in the historic.
He wanted to put a glass garage door in a wall where there was no
Okay,
garage
I just
door,
wanted-
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
This one has
Yeah.
one that's not historically significant at
Yeah.
all, and
Okay.
they're just
All right.
replacing
They're
it with a glass.
replacing door with door, so,
Yeah.
Okay.
I did think about that.
Yeah, that's the first thing
So-
that came to my mind too. was that.
Thank you.
So I'll give you my staff recommendation.
Okay.
Oh, and there is a page there too, it shows the dumpster location
Right.
in the far southeast corner of the parking lot, which is a very good spot for it. So staff recommendation, replacing the existing deteriorated metal frame windows with Marvin Ultrex fiberglass windows in a dark finish. Was that ebony?
Yes.
Okay, I forgot to write that down. The replacement of the existing entry doors, replacement of existing garage door with a glass garage door are all appropriate and within the guidelines of the district. The dumpster location in the far southeast corner of the parking lot, surrounded with a wood privacy fence to screen, is appropriate. Installation of new roof on the lower, not visible roof could be staff approved, actually. Repointing should be done as necessary, and I've been out and looked at the building, and we've talked about all the locations, and they're spot on what they want to replace. They should match the existing mortar and composition, color, texture, and joint size and profile. Any bricks that must be replaced should be matched as closely as possible in color, size, and texture. The proposed second entry on the east elevation closely matches the existing in size and style and would not detract from the historic character of the building. So staff recommends approval as submitted with condition of staff approval for the replacement bricks. And those are selected.
Any questions anyone has?
Deb, you're okay with leaving the concrete block in the windows?
I am. I mean, they're there, so I don't think we need to force them to take out something that's already there.
Well,
I
I was
wouldn't say
thinking-
put them in, but since they're replacing all those other windows in the building,
As well as it also is off of the alleyway, and therefore I could see it being a potential hazard.
yeah. could be.
No, I'm not thinking of glass, I'm thinking of covering, putting brick to match them.
To match the rest of it.
Well, it's what she just made the comment, though. If somebody goes in and wants to open something in there that they need light and windows, then they have the
Take
option.
those out. But I don't think we can make them change something that was
No.
done previously.
Yeah, that's not being proposed.
Oh, no.
Right.
So-
So the, what we're saying is the brick is what we're questioning.
For, around the building, there's some places where the brick will need to be replaced,
Replaced.
here and there.
Yeah,
And so
different
they just
spots.
need to find something that matches
Matches that.
as well as possible.
Which will probably be easier than you think when you look at some of these
Right,
maps.
right.
Sky's the limit,
Have
I
you
think.
tried rose brick? Rose brick and feel,
Okay,
they can about match anything.
Rose, is it
Yeah,
Rose
they're-
brick?
They have an office in Chesterton and another one in South Bend.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna talk to Hal Kimmerer.
Easy.
Call Roger. I make a motion that we, approve this as, per Deb's recommendation.
Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it with the stipulation that they do the same thing to the building across the street.
All right. I don't know if we can make them do that or not, Roger. All in favor, aye. Opposed, same. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is exciting.
It is.
Nice. It's a nice building.
Do we know who owns the
Oh, we might do that.
building? Do we know who owns the building across the street?
I thought Zorn's bought it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah, they were responsible of making sure it's boarded up and you know,
Secure.
not, able to be accessed, but
Thank you for
that's as far as they've gotten.
I know, I know.
Good luck.
Have a
Thank
good night.
you. Okay, we'll move along to 414 Washington Street.
Need that one too.
No problem.
And this is, you're there, yes, thank you for coming back.
Oh, no problem.
Here's,
414 Washington, Kevin McGinnis is the applicant. It's in the Wabash Street Local Historic District in the Haskell and Barker National Historic District. Rating is contributing. The architectural style is Queen Anne and built circa 1870. Subject property is a 2.5-story brick Queen Anne house with a steeply pitched with asphalt shingle roof with a dominant front-facing gable and 2 lower gable dormers crossing on the sides with original 6/6 double-hung windows. The 1-story front porch has a hipped roof supported by Doric columns with a pediment offset to the left, signifying the location of the porch stairs. The main entry sits beyond these stairs and is flanked by a fixed sash window to the left. Above on the 2nd story are 2 6/6 double-hung windows with limestone sills. Moving right, the facade steps out beneath the front-facing gable, which has 2 fixed sash windows surrounded by decorative wood shingles. Beneath the gable are a pair of fixed sash windows with limestone sills on the 2nd floor and a large double-hung window on the 1st floor. The north elevation is dominated by a central projecting bay window between the 1st and 2nd floors, surrounded by 2 double windows in the 1st and 2nd stories. The south elevation has a brick bay with 3 windows on the 1st floor, set towards the back of the house with a pair of double-hung windows above. To the left are double-hung windows on the 1st and 2nd floors with limestone sills. The property retains a great deal of historic integrity, while the porch appears to have been replaced with new materials, and several of the original double-hung windows have been replaced with fixed sash windows. So the proposed project on the east elevation is to paint the fish scales in the attic gables and install a new 2nd floor deck. On the north elevation, it's to paint the fish scales on the attic dormer and repair the bay window. And on the west front elevation, to paint the fish scales in the attic gables, install new shutters, and install a new fence. So, staff recommendation. Painting the fish scales in the attic gables and dormers is appropriate. If necessary, replace deteriorated shingles with cedar of the same size, shape, and thickness. Deteriorated wood on the bay window should be replaced with wood, thermally treated wood, or cement board, such as but not limited to hardy board, replicating the existing trim in size, style, and profile. Leaded glass windows in the bay should be repaired. Upper sash of the double-hung window should be replaced, and entire window should be repaired. Proposed wrought iron fence with brick columns, while not original to the property, would be compatible. Addition of a 2nd floor deck is appropriate at the rear of the property. Shutters must be proven to have been original to the house through physical evidence or historic photographs. If shutters once existed on this property, new ones could be installed. They must be made of wood and sized to cover half the window opening, with height to match the jamb opening and shape to match the shape of the top of the upper sash. Staff recommends approval if application is submitted, with the exception of shutters, which if proven to have once existed could be staff approved.
Does anyone have any questions concerning this?
How long do you think this project is going to take?
Boy, I don't know, it's hard to get people to even come out.
Right.
So between when I came here last time and today, I've tried to have a couple different people to come and give me quotes who just haven't even shown up.
Yeah,
So
right.
that's how long do I want this to take? I would love for it to be done by the end of November. Now, I know that's not gonna happen,
Wants
so.
and needs, right?
Exactly. So, to be honest, my first order of business would probably be the windows. Because once the windows are done, I can go ahead and get a lot of the indoor stuff done.
Right.
If the weather allows, late in the summer, or late in the fall, if approved for the fence, I would love to have that up. And the shutter thing, I just thought it would look nice with shutters. If that's a problem, it's not the end of the world to me at all. I just thought it would look nice with shutters. So it's really dependent upon how quickly I can get people to come out and actually give me quotes, get the product there, and actually do the work. So that's kind of where I'm at. I would love for everything to be done by April or beginning of May next year. But I'm thinking that once the windows do go in, because I do need windows in there, that tends to speed everything else up quite a bit. You guys were in my place. I mean, I still need drywall, so as soon as the windows are in, then I can get drywallers in, and because there's no sense of putting drywall up without having the windows redone first. So I would love for everything to be absolutely done by beginning of May next year. I mean, that's my realistic, I mean, I would love for it to be
Well,
done
that seems
before
like a realistic goal.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit that you're taking on there.
So you are replacing those two front windows?
I'm sorry, what's
The
that?
two front windows?
Yeah, those are, they don't even open.
Well, I remember, and this is probably aging me, when the guy that lived in there
Chuck Lundgren?
wanted them put in because he used a telescope to view.
Yeah,
the thing.
I have got to take those up because, I mean, it baffled me that they're in, and it's not even in that room that they're in multiple other rooms upstairs. Yeah, it was, I thought that was very odd.
Stars.
And that's so bizarre to me because you can't even open it to get airflow in or anything, and it just.
The young ones, or-
Yes, young stars.
You're checking out the windows up in the gable.
No,
No,
the front windows up on the top, right here on this west elevation,
Elevation.
they're solid panes of glass.
Oh, that's what I meant, up in the gable.
Oh, see, to me, this is the,
That's
Yeah, that's
the
what I
gable.
was thinking.
To me, it's,
Oh, okay.
yeah, no,
that's
second
second
floor.
floor, and the
Second
gable's
story.
above it,
Yeah.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
they're,
you're talking about the second floor window?
Right.
yeah, they're just solid glass.
Mhm.
They have been for years.
Right.
It's one of those things that was done on the weekend when the inspection department was closed.
There was quite a bit done on the weekends, I think.
I really like the proportions of the old building.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
And I don't
right.
think the shutters would be an original.
I mean, I've got pictures, and I do believe I have one picture with the shutters in it. Again, not the end of the world to me at all. It was just, it's more of aesthetically pleasing to me, but it's
Oh,
certainly
that's not that's the last thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
And that can go up on a weekend.
Especially, right?
Why not, huh?
Are you okay with the wood windows? That's
No.
the recommendation about putting in?
No, I am not okay with the wood windows, and I wanna work with you guys as much as possible. The wood windows, everything on the north side of the building, be it wind coming off the lake, all those windows are deteriorated and garbage. I feel that, and I haven't priced it out, but maybe to have the windows looked at and see if what can be rebuilt, if it can be, and it's energy efficient for me as well, to where I'm not losing hundreds of dollars out of NIPSCO a month due to those windows. If it works out for both sides and it's feasible monetarily wise, no problem. No problem at all. It's not like, I don't want you to think I'm coming here and this is what it has to be and this is the way. No, I just want to work with you guys as much as possible. I've got 42 windows in the house, so for me to go ahead and do wood windows is ridiculously expensive. So I need to make it to where when I go to sell the property years from now, or I got to make sure that I get my money out of it as well, to where it's not just everything's wasted in windows, because I mean that's a large amount of money to put
That
towards
many
windows.
windows.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy that there's more windows in his house than there was in the mixed-use building that
Yeah, I was just
Right.
looking at
Yeah,
like 36 windows, it's nothing.
But you know that the board wouldn't approve vinyl windows.
Yeah, but the fiberglass windows that you just approved for that one, would that be an option for the previous one?
I think, not sure we have, I think we did in one residence. This was commercial and replacing the metal windows, so it was a different sort of situation, but I feel like we approved
We did.
fiberglass,
We
didn't we?
did,
For
and I
someone?
can't remember for who, but we did do that.
Was that for
No.
the garden center there across from, those big windows they put in? In fact, I saw
I
those.
cannot think where it was, but I don't have as strong, and a lot of the places where we're making recommendations, we usually approve fiberglass. I mean, fiberglass holds up over the long haul. It doesn't do the nasty things that vinyl does.
Correct, yeah.
And it's, as far as heat transfer and things like that, you don't have those issues.
They're not wrapped windows, are they?
No, they're like an extruded
I'm not familiar with
fiberglass.
those, are you?
Marvin Integrity.
Yeah,
But they're wood wrapped with.
That's what I thought.
no, they are fiberglass.
Really?
Whole-truded, they call it, so.
They're
it's like
very,
it's-
they hold up, like she was saying, they hold up better than vinyl. I mean, after 15 years of a cheap vinyl window, you're gonna replace that if it's a $100 window. This is something that is going to last a whole lot longer, and there's less maintenance on it, and it still looks
Nice.
like
Looks
wood, and
good.
it looks nice.
You can get a color too.
Yes,
Right.
correct, that's right.
And even dark colors like that one that they approved.
Yeah.
They're certainly more expensive than vinyl, but they're a good option. They're
Mhm.
super strong, stronger than wood, actually.
Mhm.
You don't have the issue with seal failure that you do with vinyl because of the different expansion contraction rates between glass and vinyl.
And when
It's
you
a good
guys are over
choice.
there, it's really the north side that I'm worried about the most, because that north side takes a beating because of the wind coming off the lake, to where it's extremely hot in the summer, extremely cold in the winter. So I mean, the fact that it's going to be changing that
Yeah.
much, and the wind right on it, as you guys saw, I mean, that all the windows on that side, anything that was wood on that
You
side.
could even see it in
Yeah.
the picture that we have here, where it's the most deteriorated side.
Right.
It's really bad. I mean,
Yeah, and you look underneath that and it was completely falling apart, yeah.
Yeah, even some of them that are still here are
Yeah.
bad
So the
shape.
fiberglass has been approved. Fiberglass one, yes.
So,
Okay.
in talking about my recommendation to him, first of all, and I wasn't sure exactly where we were with this, was that he get somebody, if he can get somebody there,
Yeah.
to look at the woodwinds and see about fixing as many as possible, because I feel like there's a lot of them that could be repaired. There's some on the north side that are pretty far gone.
Yeah.
But I feel like the front is super
Possibility.
important. There's some on the
Minus
front
ones
side.
that are the solid paints,
Yes,
obviously.
those need to go. I mean, that's not
The
even
solid
say
paint.
solid
paint.
solid
Oh, yeah, no,
paint.
it's not taking, oh, yeah,
No.
that's, I
There's
mean,
no
that's
egress
gotta be
from
a
that
wall
room.
right there. I mean, that is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And these two over here, second floor, but on the offset part back here,
Side.
they're different from any other windows in the
Yeah.
house.
Odd.
It is
But-
odd, but they're kind of cool,
Yeah, they are.
and
You're right.
if it all can be fixed, they should be. Those are just super character defining, typical Queen Anne strange things going on, you know. So
That's that definition. Is that in your recommendation?
that is not in there.
Okay.
That's our technical term.
It was good.
So, yeah, that would, my first choice is that as many be repaired as possibly can be, if you can find somebody to price that out, and if needs be, have wood storms go on there, and I feel like they're gonna be pretty efficient, but where they can't be, I personally would not have a problem recommending fiberglass as a replacement option.
Well, and we've talked before too, we don't want to deteriorate and not cooperate with people who are trying to fix up homes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
I
that's
would
what we're here
appreciate
for,
that,
too.
because
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what we're here for.
yeah,
so,
that's,
yeah.
that's a good thing.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve as per Deb's recommendation again.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. All right, thank you very much,
All right,
Kevin.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Seeing that.
Let me call them all. I give you some names of some other contractors.
Okay, all right, great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we're to 523. Oh, Franklin.
523 Franklin, the applicant's name is Robert Weber, or Weaver, whatever it is. It's in the Franklin Square Local and Franklin Street Commercial Historic District. It's a non-contributing building. Architect is unknown, commercial style, constructed in 1893. The facade of the subject property has been drastically changed with new brick and windows. These changes render the building non-contributing. Description of the proposed project is a new 4-foot by 8-foot oval sign. The proposed sign meets historic district guidelines, therefore staff recommends approval as submitted.
Deb, what is unsalted, no sharks?
That's
It's a
it.
clothing
It's a
company.
clothing, isn't it?
Clothing?
Like
Is
t-shirts,
this-
is it?
You see them around town a lot. It says
Yeah.
unsalted on the back. It says
Yeah.
sharks on it.
Is this right next to where they have that health store that
Yep.
one? Is it right next door?
So are they opening up a storefront there? Is
It's
that-
already there.
Oh, it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if the sign's already there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wasn't there
Nice-
last
it's a nice
Tuesday.
story.
Oh, okay,
I know
so
that.
then maybe not, because I
They did
could have
really
swore
good.
that they came in after the work was done, but
I was-
I
Did
guess
they
not.
get it
Same
from
thing,
that?
hon.
Did they
What?
get it?
Yeah, they did. They were working with Craig prior to that,
Oh, I
and then
see,
he
okay.
pushed them over this way, so.
Okay, all right.
So, that was another question I was gonna ask. Does the health food place need to, if they put up signs?
I could have swore that they put up signs too.
I
Did you-
think,
I think they have some window decals or at least something like that.
Yeah.
Or something temporary even.
okay.
Yeah, there's. I hope that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little tiny one in the
Oh,
window,
okay.
but not,
Do you know if this place next door has anything?
I didn't go that way, I'm
Oh, okay.
sorry.
No, not a problem.
Didn't know I was supposed to be.
No, that's all right.
No,
I just figured you may have,
Because I
that's all right.
thought, I thought that was the same address, but evidently it's not.
No. Well, actually, they might have the same address, so it just might be Sweden.
Oh, because didn't they break the building?
Yes, there was a
Wasn't
door
that where
on each side.
Revive was?
Yeah.
Okay,
Was
thank
I think in the file it said 523-525 Franklin or
Oh,
something.
okay, so it
Okay,
might be
okay.
discontinued.
Yeah.
Okay. Any question? Where is this sign gonna go? In the window,
flat sign.
in the front?
No, it's a wall sign.
It's a wall.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah, so it's gonna be on the brick. So it's
Up in front.
yeah.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same? Passed. Thank you. Sign. Okay.
Last one would be in the maintenance review,
Mhm.
which this one was a storage shed that wasn't visible from the street. Other than that, it seems pretty much like a no-brainer on that one. She was building a she shed. And she's gonna come back in for a wraparound porch that she was proposing at that.
That's cute.
I love that, I love that commercial.
Like,
No lightning allowed.
No,
lightning is usually good.
that's true, that's true. Okay, anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay. Thank you. Any committee report? One thing that I wanted to bring up is the article that was in the paper today. And I think we kind of talked about a little bit about the globes in the Elston Grove area. I received a phone call last Tuesday wanting to know if the Historic Review Board was going to be at the meeting with the Common Council concerning removing the globes. I didn't know anything about it, and I had a funeral memorial that night, and I could not attend. But now, when this was in the paper today I've gotten 3 calls. 2 people would not tell me their name, which, that's okay, but wanting to know why the Historic Review Board is allowing this to be done. And my comment to them is because the Historic Review Board was not included in any conversation. Not to say that we are against it or for it, but we should have been included. If I have to vote on a thing, if you can paint your house pink or blue, then I should be allowed to be in on a meeting with something as serious as this. So there are a lot of people that are very upset on this. I didn't even know till I read this, that this is the second time it's been voted on and passed. So it's like after the fact that people are now being very upset concerning this.
What committee or board or arm of government would have approved it in the first place?
Common Council.
Common Council.
Didn't come through redevelopment first?
Yes, I think it did.
I believe it did, because I
Okay.
know there was some discussion, there's been a lot of discussion about lighting in the city,
Right.
and a lot of concern that rather than lighting the night sky, that all of the lighting should be,
Go down.
should go
Yeah.
down instead of up, and I believe that that was part of the reason why they were looking at even changing some lights.
But our concern is
I understand it,
basically,
yeah.
our
It's
concern
in our
is, you know, we've
guidelines.
been, our guidelines specifically say that we are to preserve and protect
I
that.
totally agree with
And
you.
my question is, the participating entities, did they not realize that we were I don't know that.
No,
We would
it's
like
not.
to have been,
Yeah, you know, I mean, at the time, I
where
didn't
where
even
did that
know
ball drop?
that it was in the historic district. This was before I joined this board and knew anything about
Uh-huh.
that. There was never any mention that I recall from at least the time I was on the redevelopment commission, when we've had many discussions about lighting in different parts of the city and the parks and all the different places, that anybody said, well, this lighting is in a historic district. They should have known that, and they should have said that, and they should have included you, I believe.
Well, my understanding is basically that it was brought up at the city council meeting.
That could have been, and I wasn't part of that.
Well, but I'm saying, no, but that was the first point at where it was basically initially discussed, that was in a historic district. And basically, you know, I feel that we have to protect ourselves in the future from this happening again, you know, because we want to work
Absolutely.
together. However, I was wondering if it was something we dropped the ball on,
I think so.
or if it was just something we weren't included, or,
I mean, this is the first time I'm actually hearing of this, so I'm just as out of the loop as you guys
And
are.
that's why I called
I'm not
you
at city
today.
council on the day, or I'm not at rarely ever unless there's something it's pertaining to myself.
Well, and I don't want, like, when somebody calls me and won't even give me a name,
right.
that puts up a red flag right there. Do they really live in this district or do they not live in it? That's not for me to judge it, but for me to be able to respond, I would like to know who I'm at least talking to, a first name. And then for them to blame us for passing this on and letting it pass and not having us make them go by the rules. That was the big issue. And when I was first told about the meeting a week ago, I couldn't come. It was too late. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Who am I going to call to go to a meeting at 6 o'clock? When I couldn't go, I felt that I couldn't call any of you to have you go. But then when I see this in the paper, where it's been voted on now twice and passed, but still, well, this gentleman that was here tonight said that a lot of the globes have already been removed. I did not drive around to see that, but how sad if they are.
Is
Well, this is
that
what they're being replaced
There were
with.
there were some globes that needed to be replaced because water had gotten into them, if I understand it correctly, and there was some concern about safety issues or something.
Well, see, that makes sense, but then
But they shouldn't
these
have.
people should have been told that rather than told that they were gonna take them all off and,
Or even we would have been,
yeah.
Sure.
liked to have known that
This
that
is
was
what
an
they
issue.
look
Then we
like.
could
I
have.
don't know if
said,
No, that may not be
They were
true for all of
installed,
them.
and then because people
They've been
objected to
in.
them,
They've
they
been-
were taken down?
They've taken the globes, the historical globes. or
The globe
historical
off of
looking
it.
globes,
and putting LED lights in.
And putting LED lights.
And the one guy that called me today said, do you know what happens if one of those LED lights explode? And I said, no. He said it emits into the atmosphere, and then you've got chemicals, and I'm thinking,
I don't know if that's,
I don't know. But, you
Well, we
know,
don't,
but
right.
here you've got people supposedly living in this area that are saying that. Did they say it to the common council when they went? Probably not. But now I don't want him to come back to the historic review board and say, you people should have known that this was going on.
I may be speaking out of turn because we talked about so many different lights in different locations. But I believe that these, because they had some historic value, were being donated to Washington Park, and the park was going to.
Now, those were already done.
Okay.
Those have been done.
Okay,
those
then
are
this is
the
a
old
different.
ones that were down Wabash, I think. Can't remember.
Yeah, but this was another batch besides the ones on Wabash.
So what's going to happen to the ones at Elston Grove?
I think they're going to Washington Park or someplace to be.
Well, why are they okay for Washington Park and they're not okay for the historic?
I think there were some that were in okay shape and some that maybe weren't, or.
See, and then that should have been in this article.
Well, could I
read
this? I think I felt this addressed it. The commission shall be concerned with those elements of development, redevelopment, rehabbing, and preservation that affect visual quality in the historic district. We can't decide on design and so forth and so on. We may not make any requirement except for the purpose of preventing development, alteration, or demolition in the historic district. Obviously, that would, to something that would not be in harmony with the historic district. So basically, when you remove, when they did Elston Grove, the globes were quite a deal, I think, when they decided on those globes because it represented the historical flavor of that district at that time. So there was a lot of money and thought that went into those globes. And basically, at this point, you are changing. You are changing the atmosphere of that district. And you are changing basically you are altering whereby those other lights now are not really in harmony with what we're trying to protect. So we should, I feel, have had at least a voice in it, and I feel that we may not be able to change this. However, I feel that we do need to let everyone who is involved with doing all this sort of thing in our city to be made aware that, we need to be included.
The question remains, why isn't the common council aware of the historic review board?
They are. Don Frizzlezinski brought that up at the council meeting. He brought it up that
Don Prespolinski.
He did.
He brought it up and noted to the fact that it was a historic district, and that he as a matter of fact, there was 3 of the council members that voted to keep the globes because they felt it was a historic situation.
Wasn't Johnny Stinley one of them? Don?
No, Johnny didn't.
Dwayne?
The other one
Dabney?
was Dabney. Yeah, well, and Dwayne is our advocate. So that's
what surprised me, that Dwayne didn't speak up.
Yeah, he did vote to keep them. However, I don't think his voice was, of course they voted it, I think it was voted 3-6 or something like that against it. But Don did make a notation, and he did say that he felt that, they were placed there for a reason. They are historical. They keep the historical value of that, and it was voted down. But my point is, we were not asked to input.
But is it too late to make an attempt to stop what's happening? They're not all replaced yet, are they? And certainly the people in that community have a right to even have a voice in a decision like that. They've all spent extra money to get wood windows or other windows instead of vinyl windows. They've all invested, and they think they're doing something special to be in that district, and they have someone do something that is not in their best interest. Is that right?
Like Joyce said, we make or we decide for people what they can do and what they can't do. And as you guys know, we've done battle here the last few years on some of these projects, and we've taken the heat for the disgruntled people in that area. And I think we pride ourselves on the fact that we have, our board now is a much friendlier board, and we really try to work with them and that sort of thing. But basically, then here we have our council that doesn't even acknowledge us, you know, so.
Shouldn't we send a letter or something?
Yes,
at least?
that's what I was gonna say, is to send a letter to
But just-
probably Craig to start with, and then.
Well, I was gonna talk to Craig tonight, and I didn't get to him before the meeting started, and then Don, I called Don today. He's gonna call me back after the meeting, I think,
But
tomorrow.
boy, if they could stop the installation of any more of them, because
I don't think
it sounds
they can
like the
stop it.
community isn't happy if
No,
someone was
they're not.
calling you.
Brian Dabney, Ron Hamilton, and Don Prespolinski voted to leave the globes in place. And all the other council members voted to take them out. Tim Beatrice, Sharon Carnes,
Yeah.
Sean Fitzpatrick, Candace Silvas, Gene Simmons, and Johnny Stinley.
Now, I talked.
And this is the second time it's been voted on and passed. So it would be very hard for us to go in and say, you can't do that. And we can't say that.
Well, we could say that, and had we been asked, we would have objected to them. I don't think they're appropriate.
I feel they should have come before you.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
in South Bend, there are
Yeah.
lights, historic lights in historic districts, and they've changed a few of them. And before they were able to do that, the city had to present a COA to the historic review board in
Yeah.
South
Which
Bend.
we've done before here too.
Kathy,
So
you probably
that's
would
the
know more
process.
about
Right.
it.
That's
Yeah.
why
A
that should
district
happen.
and then don't honor it.
Yeah, that's
the
totally
city
wrong.
themselves could.
Yeah, that's,
Can we
yeah.
compose a letter?
Kathy, you probably would know more about this. Now,
Yes.
the purpose, I think, of this change of these lights is citywide, am I correct?
I don't know that it's particularly citywide, and there's been lots of discussion about whether Michigan City should become what's called a dark city.
Yes.
I think at the last time I was involved in the discussion, we talked about the parks being dark as opposed to the city, and looked at some crime statistics in cities like Atlanta, which voted to become a dark city, and their crime rates have gone up. Senior citizens are afraid to walk in their neighborhoods at night because of security reasons, and so I don't know that they're going that. I don't know if they're going to I don't
Okay,
think they're
well-
talking about replacing all of them, only where there has been some issues around it. I don't know that we can do anything now, but I think it's really important that we speak up. And I agree with Gigi. I think it should go in writing.
That's what it is.
Because then, at city council meeting, they always ask, is there any communication? So communication that's come in, and I think it should be addressed, not just to Don Prespolinski, but to the
To the whole
city,
council.
to the whole council.
Does anybody object to having their name put on a letter that we will compose?
And I would address the same letter, I think, to the to Craig Phillips and Don Babcock and the Redevelopment Commission, because that's where those, and maybe you know something more than I know, but that's usually where those projects kind of start.
Yeah, I would say so. I've been usually with the head of my department,
Yeah.
catering to, and city council either, behind or starting it there.
I see Craig all the time. I mean, if you want, I can say something to him.
Well, if you don't mind, I
I
don't think
don't
it would
mind at all.
hurt if they just know
Yeah.
that we were definitely
Yeah.
left out. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but I wonder if a carbon copy shouldn't even go to the mayor.
I think that's.
Oh, definitely, I think so, yeah. My understanding, and my information may not be correct, that's why I thought maybe you would know, but there is a citywide program through the ESG, Energy Saving Something, whereby once the entire district, whatever that might be that they're including, which does include the historic district, they will go into effect whereby we're saving X amount of
Yes,
money.
yes.
So that's what, if I understand correctly, that's what started the whole idea of changing all these lights.
It could be.
Whereby we will be on an energy efficient program for the city, So I understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
And I would imagine that the ones that voted for it, and probably that's what they were thinking. They were only thinking
But
of
there
the-
might have been a more appropriate design that was still energy efficient, but would be more appropriate for the
Right.
location.
Right.
Right.
So anyhow, that's my feeling on it is that we should have been invited to at least input.
Any other old business that we need to talk about? Roger?
What about a continuing discussion with the TV antenna?
You were gonna say that.
I've asked Brian to come to our meetings.
Who?
Brian Dabney, who's supposed to represent us, who's supposed to take these things back to the city. He has not been to one meeting.
I left a message for him this afternoon.
Okay. I feel badly that if he doesn't want to be on this board, then he should tell the mayor and let the mayor put somebody else on. Because I think having a voice at the city council would be
That's our most
helpful.
connection there.
Yeah,
Is he just to be the liaison from the city council, not a voting member, right?
right.
Yeah.
Then probably, I think, does the mayor make those, I think, or Don Pospolinski?
No, the mayor.
I think Don.
I
Mayor.
think it's the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor does it.
No, it's done.
Is it?
Don, isn't it?
Don.
It's the council.
Yeah,
Council
it's a
appoints its own
council.
members.
Oh,
Right.
Well, I could
Yeah,
have
that's-
called to Don today too. So.
Well, can you ask him that question?
He's supposed to get back with me.
Or when he
this
does,
evening.
could you ask?
I do, there's several things I want to
Okay.
discuss.
He may
with him
still be
this evening.
downstairs.
That's what I was
They can
thinking,
catch
you.
that's what I was thinking too, but, he's aware that, we're going to have.
Well,
a
and it's not that we
conversation.
want to cause a big
Oh, no, no.
hullabaloo about this, but the right way is the right way.
I would say one thing though, just simply because I think it should be here.
Talking about an update of the
Is this a battle that we want to go forward with concerning the globes, in case we do get into a confrontation type of situation with the, the neighborhoods and things like that? I mean, how far do we want to go with this? As
Here's
a
the thing,
board,
I don't know anything about it, except
or,
what I've been called and what I've read in the paper. I don't know why they're doing this. The information you just gave us was wonderful. I didn't know some of them were leaking and
I
causing.
believe that that's
Yeah.
part of
Yeah, and I get that. Then you want to repair it because you don't want
but
to
like,
burn out a whole bunch of them because of one
but
going
like
down.
Roger said, surely there's an alternative.
Yes, yeah, I would think so.
I mean,
See,
and that's where we
The other
should have
thing,
been.
I mean,
For so
while we're
long.
thinking about this, because Roger just asked me about the meeting I was at earlier downstairs, which was an update from NICD on the double tracking. Is the double tracking going to go through any of the historic district?
It's right at the edge.
Yeah.
11th
At the
Street's
The
right.
facade
So-
of the train station, did you hear what they
Yeah.
said they have was it $1
Yes, $1 million, right, yeah.
to save that facade?
Yeah, there's been lots of discussion about that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be saved. No, my question was more about appropriate, they have a landscaper, and there's going to be some fencing and landscaping that's going to go on both sides of the new tracking that's going through. And there are, I think, 69 different structures maybe that are going to have to be purchased because of the tracking. But I think that it would be nice maybe if they included you in on the discussion around what they're doing to make that.
Well, yeah, but touches on the historic district.
Pardon?
It would touch on the historic district, that's the
Yeah.
one that, right?
Right, well,
The
a
north
bunch of
side.
houses are gonna be demoed in the
Yeah.
Well,
historic
11th
district,
Street,
yeah.
the north
Let's
side,
north.
And some
the north
buildings.
side.
Yeah.
Too.
It's a lot. I mean, we've had some conversations with them because that started even before I got here. So Brad's been the one more involved than what I was, or what I have been. But we've looked at a couple of, I think there's 2 out of all of them that are in the historic district that we felt had some real merit and that we could see maybe having them move those. And that's still a discussion point. Eventually, they're gonna have to come before you guys and ask for permission to demo all those properties.
Maybe not.
They will. They will. We're working with them. So
that's-
Well, I want to believe that it was just an oversight, that they
Yeah.
didn't realize that this board is sitting here.
I believe that too. I don't think it was
No, I don't
anything
think it was.
malicious that
No.
was
Oh,
done at
no,
all.
but I would like to
But
make
they
sure it
should,
doesn't happen
they should be
again.
not able to overlook it again.
Right.
I don't think you need to be fearful or
Oh, no.
that by sending a letter that would be
Oh, no,
like,
no, no.
like
No.
starting a
No.
battle or
No,
something.
I
It
just
certainly
think
is
it's being
Oh, no, I
honest.
don't think so.
Yeah.
But it might be worth pointing out that we might not have agreed with them and might have urged
Right.
them to do something more in keeping with the district.
Yes.
Or we might have had a better idea, like Roger said, of some other type of
Options, yeah.
options for
Yeah.
those lights, right? Yeah.
Well-
Excuse me, speaking of moving, anybody hear anything about the old train station being moved?
Oh, that's what we were
Yes.
just talking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
That's what you just
The
said.
meeting downstairs, yeah, I was there too.
So the whole facade of the train station will be removed.
Removed.
And the train station, because of the double tracking and because of the need of having the platforms that are handicapped accessible, they need more room. So the station is going to be moved back, pushed back actually, and like almost cut in half. And then the old facade will be replaced there. There'll be a 500-car parking structure that's going up, what direction would that be? Past the
To the
train
north.
station.
North.
Yeah, to the north, thank you.
Are we talking the same streets? Are we?
Are you talking
11th
South
Street.
Shore or Amtrak?
South Shore.
11th Street.
No, I was talking about the other one,
Oh,
on the one west.
not in the historic review,
Not in the,
not in our area at all.
I'm attending the meeting, so I'm keeping an eye on it, yes.
As
The
far as a
Amtrak
historic
station.
landmark, yeah.
Because the
And-
station really is, it's a
It
shame.
is. And that's, we're encouraging, and if it goes through, I think they're going to look at having that have a local designation so that it would be protected going forward. So they're looking at some various locations, trying to find out, possible funding. It's just all in a very,
It'd be
Topic
very
early.
expensive to move that, all the
Yeah.
brick facade.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It can be done.
yeah, they have
I have seen it
quote
done.
actually that they had a couple of years ago, and then there's one in, I think it's Sturgis, Michigan, that's like a twin for this,
Oh,
that's been moved,
Oh, really?
so that kind of gives them an idea, but I think it was around 250,000
Oh,
to
anyway.
move it.
I thought it'd be more than that.
They're thinking about $750,000 for the entire project, till they secure the ground, move it, do the mechanicals.
Okay.
And then did you see that they're doing some fix-up work on the old ice cream
Well,
station?
that was gonna be my second question.
Mm-hmm.
the
Do we
office,
know
isn't
what's
it?
going on?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, the office.
Okay,
So that building has been purchased by a company called Buchler. And their intent is to put in some residential, or, I don't know, yeah, I think it will be residential apartments or something in that area. They would like to have been able to purchase some more of the buildings in that area than what they've been. I know they made an offer for the Lubeznik Center, and they were interested in taking that down. So the ice cream parlor, or almost ice cream parlor,
Almost, yeah.
they intend to have to be their management
Office.
offices to manage it. Plus, they are doing a lot of different projects in the
now
city.
this is the company that's building the condos.
Yes.
Yes.
I know the contractor who's doing the work, and he said that they're giving the building 3 to 5 years, and then they said that they told the city they'd be tearing it down after that time.
Really?
It's funny, they too
I
are
don't
working
know.
on weekends.
So are
I
They
hate
were
that.
one of the companies that bid on the You Are Beautiful
Oh,
open space.
Mhm.
And then this, where we had, I think there were 6 or 7 different development corporations that put bids in to do projects there, part residential, part retail space, hotel, mostly high-end kind of hotel space. And then at the end, the city just really decided that we had put that on the back burner because of other commitments that we had made to the Civic Plaza, to the double tracking, and some other things. So they were the only, then Buchler was the only one that went ahead and started purchasing some properties
on the other.
on the
So
other
what
side.
has been purchased by them?
I'm not sure, I'm
Is it
not on
this side
redevelopment
of
commission.
12, I mean, this side of 12?
It's all on the other side of, the lake side of Little Besnick Center, so the Civic Plaza and behind.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you know more about this?
I don't. I know just as much as have you said so far, so that's pretty much as far as I know. I know that's being handled a little bit further up the chain than myself.
Now, which condos are you talking about? The people are they the ones that are?
They're the ones that go into the train station.
The old train station.
When they move the train station, or what their intent was to demo it and, go up.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is very recent, because I was,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
because for a while I was working with the owner of that, they had turned it into a restaurant.
Right,
Yeah.
Arcadia.
Arcadia.
Yeah.
yeah,
But then that kind of just stopped, because we were gonna do some more work to it, and then
His
came
business
about.
isn't doing
so it's
as
been
well.
purchased by these people.
Yeah, and I don't know if they already have purchased Arcadia
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah, but that's
But
the,
that is their intention, I
Intent.
believe.
Mhm.
So,
for condos, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they want to remove in condos.
Or
That's what it said in the
rental,
paper.
yeah.
And I know we were talking about that ice cream parlor to become management. I know as of now, they're looking to move at properties into there and using it for multiple office uses.
That's what I
yeah.
been told.
Why build condos right along a railroad track?
that's a good question.
Hello?
Communication.
They obviously know it's a railroad track.
Roger, to get back to your question concerning those satellite dishes, in our historic guideline, what is inappropriate in a historic district? Large signs, high-intensity overhead streetlights, and oversized satellite dishes are discouraged.
Which actually, when we voted upon it last year, we added in on that as far as, location bearing on it, but without, having that ability to meet with contractors or, break that chain that, it seems that we're not in the connection or the communication of that. It's hard to enforce.
Okay, how can we correct that? Do we have to go before the city council? What can we do?
But I think even going in front of city council won't stop Comcast, or it wouldn't be Comcast, but AT&T and Dish.
Direct
Network,
TV.
yeah.
But if it's
And
put
Dish.
into,
And I did not know, if you have it and you move, they just disconnect it. If I go into your place, they don't
Put
take
another
yours
one.
down, they put another one on the house, either next or above or beyond. I'm shocked. There's some houses that have 2 and 3 on them.
well, I'm not informed, I don't understand the chain of command enough though to make this something that is basically in the city of Michigan City whereby you cannot, have multiple, let's just put it that way, have multiple satellite dishes left in a yard. You know what I'm saying? Is there
Right.
something we could initiate basically as a board?
If that was something that we wanted to do, an ordinance would need to be passed, and you would have to start with a council person to move that forward.
That's where Brian Dabney would be
Yeah.
very beneficial if he would
You
come.
would attend. or-
So that's what we would have to do. We would have to get, establish someone to work on our behalf
Mhm.
to propose an ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I move we adjourn.
I have a couple things I want to say. Okay, I didn't see public comment, but
Okay.
I'm commenting.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're not public.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Well, and also there wasn't a new business on there either.
That's true. I was still looking for that, so it's like, okay, well, we'll fit in there somewhere before everyone runs out the door. 2 things. One's an observation. The last meeting we had this happen, and earlier in the spring, I think we've had this happen. But it just is a little concerning to me when people come in with their proposed projects and want to put that in front of you guys. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. If you guys just listen to it and don't say peep, that's okay. I mean, they can comment under public comment, but you really daren't say anything. If they come in here and say, well, we'd like to do this and this and this, and how do you feel about that? That is not a good idea, because that could be setting precedent. And really, they need to fill out a COA application. And if they're really in doubt, that's what I'm here for. And I will meet with them. Like Anastasia that was here tonight with the Zorn Brewery property. You know, she called me, we talked on the phone, we set up an appointment, went through the building, talked about various things. We had 2 more phone conversations. Can I do this? Should I do that? What do you think the council is going to look favorably at? We worked through that to the point that she brought a project tonight that was virtually spot on. And that's really what we need to do. They shouldn't be coming in here testing the waters because I feel like it's going to make everybody want to do that pretty soon and say, well, you know, why can't I just go and talk to them ahead of time? They really shouldn't. They really should go through the COA process. That's what it's here for, really.
So we're kind of saying about Kevin shouldn't have come to
Really.
the last couple meetings.
You know, if he wants to say, I'm thinking about replacing all the windows in my house, maybe you should drive by and take a look at it. And end of discussion. Don't comment. Don't say anything. Don't say, oh my goodness, you can't do that. Or, oh, we're good with that. Or, you know, just really can't comment on that. It would just be better if you would propose something on his COA. Fill out an application. We'll go forward and chat with him. And then you guys can discuss it at the meeting when he's here and you've got a real honest to goodness application. Because his changed several times over the course of.
Until we actually met him out on site and then kind of paid what we thought would be, you know, most effective.
So, that's one thing. And then the other thing, this is an unusual request that I bring to you from LaPorte, actually. And now I'm going to forget which town it is. I want to say it's Chesterton. I'll look at that while I talk and see if I can find it. I think it is Chesterton's Historic Review Board that has reached out to LaPorte. And of course now I'm not going to see it. And wanted to have a meeting with them. I'm pretty sure it was Chesterton. I'm not finding it quickly. They wanted to have a meeting. They invited LaPorte to their Historic Review Board meeting. LaPorte didn't want to go. There was some conversation back and forth. So they don't want to drive there. It's at night, and you know, they drive home in the dark and what have you. So that's been going on for months. Well, now it's summertime. They kept postponing it. Now they're like, well, why do they want to talk to us? And so, well, because of de-designation. So I guess before my time, they had some issues with de-designation in LaPorte. And I talked to Brad, because now this Chesterton's in his area. And I said, what's up with them and de-designation? He said, well, they have one property there, and it had a tile roof on it, and they took the tile roof off without getting permission. And now, instead of facing the music, they just want to be de-designated. So
What does that mean?
You can, if you're a designated district, or especially if you're a single site, it's very easy. If you're a single site, more easy, let's just say that, more easy. If you decide you don't want to be locally designated anymore, you can go through this procedure, and it's long to go through to get out of the designation process.
So the designation is a historic district process?
Right, it's a single site historic district, yeah.
And there's one in Chesterton, and they don't know what to do about it, so they went to LaPorte.
So they wanted to talk to LaPorte and see what their experience has been
To get
to get de-designated.
They shouldn't talk to us, because remember, we had a tower down in the lake, and it was approved by the city planner at that time, and neighbor complained, and they had to tear it down.
Right. I forgot about
It's still
that.
sitting out there.
Yeah.
And it's still sitting out there. The owner took it off in one piece.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
That was before I got.
I personally designed it, so I got a little interest.
You know about that.
The city planner, John Pugh, approved that, and how the city was able to negate that approval, I don't know.
It's
I went to the
crazy.
Supreme Court about it and everything, and
Oh,
I
wow.
remember
pretty
that.
big.
Yeah, I
Wow.
remember that.
big deal.
Well,
So
they didn't mention that, but anyway, long story short, they said, well, maybe we do need to get together, but we don't want to go clear over there, and they may not want to come to us, so why don't we meet part way? And then one of them said, let's go to Michigan City. And they said, you work with them, don't you? And I said, yeah. So we talked about it, and I talked to Brad in the meantime, and Brad said, well, maybe that's a continuing education for all of our commissions.
Oh.
See how Michigan City feels about that, if they feel like hosting something, not necessarily during your meeting time, but some other time, and Brad and I would we'd tag team and do some kind of presentation on what the de-designation process is, and don't use it. We really don't encourage that, but there is a legal process. It's been updated in recent years, so it is a little different than it used to be. But be a good chance to just meet other commissioners and commiserate a little bit.
So they only have one building,
I think it's Chesterton.
and so they're,
And they're
how
afraid they're gonna
large?
lose it, this one.
how large is their designated area?
No, it's
It's a
one
single
building.
It's a single
site.
site,
It's one single.
not a district.
It's not a
It's a
district.
single
So they
site
don't
district.
have
It would be like
That's all
if
they
we took
have.
one of the houses in one of our districts and they wanted
That's
to.
it, and they wanna get rid of it, so, and that kind of.
Well, I think that would be a good idea, but I may be the only
There may be
person that thinks
interest
it's
in that if.
Sure. We could have wine and cheese after meeting.
Or during.
Yeah, right.
Or before.
Look at better attendance, we'll involve food
Before,
of some
during,
sort.
and after.
I'll help with that, if you
Okay.
wanna
Yeah, I think that's a
pursue
great
that.
idea.
Okay, I'll let them know that, I'll talk to Brad and we'll get some things going, probably August would be the very earliest.
We don't want the snow to fly, no, because they won't.
No,
They won't
So,
come if it's
They won't
snowing.
come, right?
I would say we'll aim for August, if not September.
Early
Okay.
September, yeah.
Yeah, that might be a.
And just so Deb know, is there a time that we could start that would be pretty convenient for everyone? Is 6 o'clock pretty good for everyone if we know ahead of time?
We'll need a
Or are
bigger
you-
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're still thinking it would be on a Monday as we do now?
I don't know.
I don't know, is there a particular evening that's, like, are your Mondays usually decent, or?
I think Monday would be good, and we could
Yeah.
either have it before,
Yeah, I was gonna say, our
Before.
mindset is already Monday
right,
meeting, so it might just be easier. We might have
For a
to,
Monday?
we might have to show
And-
our
and
agenda
around
or
6
something.
How about the 32nd of August?
The 32nd?
32nd of August?
Sounds like the 1st of September.
She'll put that in our calendar right
yeah,
Yes.
please do.
now.
Well, it might be, where would you want to meet? I mean, how many people would be involved?
That's a good question, you know.
You know,
How many
because
are
sometimes, I mean, if you want to use like the city council room or the EDC room, you know,
EDC room would probably be the most.
yeah, I would think that would be the most logical place to have it.
That's up in front.
Most
Downstairs.
commissions have 6 or 7 members,
Yeah.
generally speaking. You know, how many that actually show up, I don't know.
Well, that, remember when we.
Yeah, I remember that. That was really bad.
It was interesting though.
But attendance was bad.
Right, it
It's
really
all
was.
right.
It was good,
Right.
but
Yeah, so.
yeah,
But
so, you know,
maybe,
you would hope a dozen or dozen and a half would show up, I
That
would
would
hope.
be good, I would think, yeah. Okay, let's try
So-
that.
And that's something that would have to be proposed in front of this board again, which could be just in the forum of here, like we did last time, you know, just making it a public meeting and
Right, Right.
giving acknowledgement
right,
and notice.
anyone who wanted to come.
Right.
And that was the other thing I was gonna talk about, is when we did our walk.
Maybe do it.
When we went on our little walk, we saw a few serious violations.
And I have talked to the code enforcement to
Thank
work
you.
on some of those.
Thank
And they have been working on them before I even got involved.
Oh, good.
But you know, it is dealing with some, you know, hard pressed people that don't necessarily have the funding right away. And things have been working for them in some parts and not in others. But obviously, we looked at such a small little scope, and there's, you know, a whole lot else that we could see.
Thank you.
Not at all.
It was just a concern because I'm thinking if we knew about it,
Yeah.
and I knew you said you were going to report that, but I'm thinking if something happened, especially the one that we saw, the wheelchair ramp, and then thinking, oh, Lord.
so
please
there
no.
was major.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No problem.
So at least we reported
Right,
and, but the little walk was really quite interesting.
Oh yeah, and it just got better as it went.
Yeah, it really did,
We
so.
might do it again.
Yeah, we need
Wasn't
to-
able to come in.
Yeah, we need to do it again, so. hopefully it won't rain and,
Be a little warmer.
yeah, it quit raining, it was just so cold. And
It was
Poor
still-
Deb.
and poor Deb, she left Mishawaka and it was like 70 or 80.
Yeah.
And here it was 58,
It's
so.
like 20 degrees colder
She had no
here.
jacket,
It's not
so-
dressed for the
Yeah.
weather.
Luckily, it didn't rain at the time, but
Right.
you know.
Goodness,
but,
yeah.
Okay. Is there any other business?
And then lastly, this is actually going to be my last meeting.
What?
Yeah, I got another job closer to where I'm at, where I'm not driving an hour to hour and a half. So unfortunately, I definitely appreciated being on this board and all the approval, and I feel like I got nothing but good feedback from most of you guys. And I mean, this is the first board I had to sit on, so I definitely appreciate it, and I will definitely remember.
We're sorry to lose you.
Thank you.
Oh, well,
Where are you going?
I'm actually going to Oak Forest in Illinois. I'll be 5 minutes away from work, so
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
that's nice.
well,
Yeah.
darn it.
yeah, those guys.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
beautiful area.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
nice
good
area.
luck to you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, good
Well,
luck.
I just want to commend you on all of the input and the positiveness that you gave out to all of us at all the meetings and follow up. I mean, I every time I went into the office, I mean, he was right there with answers and.
Oh, when you
And
come with
helping.
treats, though, I mean, that
I
works
tell him that.
very well. She's like, I'm not going to eat this candy, so you know, I was like, all right, it's not a bribe. I'm not asking for it.
Where there's a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
So,
But I did
Well.
enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm not too sure. I'm going to assume that Skylar is going to be the one stepping in the meantime. I know they have already posted my position.
okay.
So,
I saw that. It's just
Yeah.
that-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
me.
today I was
It didn't,
thinking to
The light
myself,
bulb
wait a
didn't
minute,
go off.
the light bulb
They're gonna
didn't
get
go
another
off here.
one.
Wait a minute.
well, thank you again.
no
Oh,
problem.
we're gonna be sad.
Is anybody else gonna make it? I hope not.
Yeah.
All right, then we will adjourn. Roger already made a motion, so.
And then I got some COAs for you guys to sign.
Okay.
Let's get a chance.
All right.
So they just.
Deb,